Hello, hello. All right. I guess people want to hear this. So, this is what I'm doing now. I'm going to play this game called Friday Night Funkin'. Why not? So, let's let's do it. Let me know if the audio is okay. I'm going to play for like 10 minutes. Maybe it's a couple of these Bopibo. This is for Angel, my 5th period class. Oh, okay. It's a hold. It's like, I don't know how to describe this. It's like DDR, but like with a hip-hop like cartoon. Apparently there's a story to it too, regarding the girl on the speaker, which I don't think you should be sitting on speakers like that. Bad for the speaker, you know? I like this like call and response thing. I get to see the arrows beforehand. It's only level 2, so it's not that bad. Well, that was interesting. I'm gonna move my face. It's up here. That way you can see like the little life bar or whatever it is. Fascinating stuff. Oh, I should add in case anyone's here to chat. If you're here to chat, you're more than welcome to. Woo. Oh, there are people here. Hello, what's up, Angel? And hello, Karina, welcome. Sorry, I haven't put the chat up. That's why I wasn't able to see. Let me pop you guys out and add it to my stream here. Trying to figure this out. But I'm surprised that you all stuck around. That's cool. That is totally cool. Okay. Is this what you wanted, Angel? This is what you wanted, right? I'm doing it? There's the chat. So I don't have like a live stream or anything like that. Just make y'all really small right here. I don't even think you can read that, but hey, there you are. Welcome to the stream, friends. Oh, how are you, Miss Hanson Robles? Welcome. Is that better? Yeah, I'm just playing a game. My students requested before I start the reading. They said it's a little boring just staring at my stream start. So that's where we're at. We're playing this free online game.
3, 2, 1.
All right, sure. Come back so that we can read the novel together, Karina. Is this the same one? It's hard to hear me. Might have to check the levels on your computer, because it says my levels are really high. Oh my god, this is hard. Am I good yet, Angel? Okay, I'm glad it's better. It's hard to get the beat. I'll try playing around with it in a bit. See if it'll help. All right. That was nice. Let's try this.
3, 2, 1, go!
Ooh. That's a creepy, cute little character there. Alright, there we go. Sorry, it might have been because my face was as close to my microphone. I like the music. Whoever developed this produced some good music. Synthesizer stuff. Oh, I wasn't paying attention. Okay. Not bad. I like that one. It was not bad at all. Let me okay, this is not like how I want it to be. Let me change this real quick. There, so that you can see. There it is, the full chat. There we go. All right. Let's do, I think I got time for one more before we start. Let's do this one.
3, 2, 1, go!
Oh, this has got a good beat to it. It almost sounds like beatboxing. I used to play DDR. It seems so much easier. Huh, alright. Oh, that was fun. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed that. Thank you for joining me with that, folks. Now, let's switch over. It is about 1:30, so if you are pleased by that, maybe we'll do that more often in the future. But for now, we are going to be doing our reading. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in for that. That was a nice little break. Okay, so just a heads up. We are now in Chapter 14 of Things Fall Apart. Let's find Chapter 14 here. Chapter 14. And as you can see, I believe you can kind of see where the scroller is. We are more than halfway through this book. There's a In the module, you will see that there is a video link. Well, in the slides, there's a video that will review part one of Things Fall Apart and tell you everything that there is up until this point. So please, if you have any questions or if you're lost, let me know. That way I can go over what you've missed so far, because it's really important that you understand where we are with this story and these characters. So just a heads up. Here's my kind of like synopsis. Okonkwo is a leader in the African tribe of Igbo people, and we learn all about their culture and about him as a character. He's the type of person that is very tough. He likes to put on a tough guy persona. He is always talking about his manliness and how he's not like his father Unoka, who is seen as weak and useless and a deadbeat. But Okonkwo is very accomplished. He's gotten titles. He's got money and wealth in his farm and his yams. And in his culture, he's very highly respected, unlike his father. We learn about his culture and, how they believe in spirits. They believe in the earth goddess, and they do everything to please her. They have their own justice system. They have roles for everybody in the society. Like men can plant farms, but women, they're the only ones that really cook. And they all have their own responsibilities. They all have their own systems. But part of that justice system is that Okonkwo accidentally kills someone, and at this point in the story, he has been banished from his clan for 7 years. And I believe in part 2, he returns after 7 years to see that his clan has changed. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. Chapters 14 and 15. I'm going to try and get through them within the next hour. So as I find out what's going on, because I haven't read this recently, we'll be analyzing it together. Okay, so chapter 14, let's begin. Okonkwo was well received by his mother's kinsmen in Mbanta. The old man who received him was his mother's younger brother, who was now the eldest surviving member of that family. His name was Uchendu, and it was he who had received Okonkwo's mother 20 and 10 years before, when she had been brought home from Umofia to be buried with her people. Okonkwo was only a boy then, and Uchendu still remembered him crying the traditional farewell. Mother, mother, mother is going. Okay, so Okonkwo has been banished from his village, and he has to go back to his homeland, the land of where his mother came from. So about 30 years ago, his mother was buried here when she died, and Okonkwo was just a child. So I'm going to actually place it. Okonkwo was like in his late 30s, early 40s. So good, middle-aged, That was many years ago. Today, Okonkwo was not bringing his mother home to be buried with her people. He was taking his family of 3 wives and their children to seek refuge in his motherland. As soon as Uchendu saw him with his sad and weary company, he guessed what had happened and asked no questions. Yo, to have a family that would just straight up accept you, no questions asked, that's pretty cool. It was not until the following day that Okonkwo told him the full story. The old man listened silently to the end and said with some relief, "It is a female Ochu," and he arranged the requisite rites and sacrifices. I'm gonna guess that this is like crime. It's a female offense. Remember, we talked about last class how there are 2 types of offenses, male and female, and Okonkwo committed the female one, which is accidental. Okonkwo was given a plot of ground on which to build his compound and 2 or 3 pieces of land on which to farm during the coming planting season. With the help of his mother's kinsmen, he built himself an obi and 3 huts for his wives. He then installed his personal god and the symbols of his departed fathers. Each of Uchendu's 5 sons contributed 300 seed yams to enable their cousin to plant a farm, for as soon as the first rain came, farming would begin. At last the rain came. It was sudden and tremendous. For 2 or 3 moons the sun had been gathering strength till it seemed to breathe a fire of breath on the earth. All the grass had long been scorched down, and the sands felt like live coals to the feet. Evergreen trees wore a dusty coat of brown. The birds were silenced in the forest, and the world lay panting under the live, vibrating heat. And then the clap of thunder. It was an angry, metallic, and thirsty clap, unlike the deep and liquid rumbling of the rainy season. A mighty wind arose and filled the air with dust. Palm trees swayed as the wind combed their leaves into flying crests like strange and fantastic coiffure. This is like, I'm not sure if anyone has experienced a desert like rainstorm or thunderstorm, but they're kind of crazy. High winds, you know, that's what it reminds me of. So if I were to, let's start here. Okonkwo is exiled to his motherland. So has to go home to the land his mother is from, and that is the land of Mbanta. He is greeted and received with, I would say, like, it's unconditional love. Like his family just straight up doesn't ask. It's like, oh God, something happened, and they just take him in, which I think that is fantastic. That's amazing. You know, like that's a cool sign of their culture. That's really cool. He is given lands and seeds to start a brand new life. He builds his obi. I mean, that's the main hut where he lives, and huts for his wives and their children, of course. He is loaned seeds to start planting. And now we just read about, like, you know, the planting season again. It's not new. We know about this already, the planting season. Okay, cool. When the rain finally came, it was large solid drops of frozen water, which people called the nuts of water of heaven. Yo, what amazing timing. For those of you who went outside yesterday, you guys know what this is, right? This is hail. Frozen water from heaven. They experienced hail. They were hard and painful on the body as they fell, yet young people ran about happily picking up the cold nuts and throwing them into their mouths to melt. Think about it. If you live in like a place that's known for being incredibly hot and there's no such thing as a freezer yet, you never really see ice, right? So the nuts of, they don't even have a word for ice. It's the nuts of water of heaven. That's wild. I mean, like, how many of you have, since you grew up, born and raised in Las Vegas, never actually saw snow? You know, like, these people, this culture has never experienced freezing temperatures except hail. And you guys know hail is because, like, water freezes up in the atmosphere and it's cold enough and then it falls but doesn't have enough time to melt. So yeah, that's really cool. The earth quickly came to life and the birds in the forest fluttered around and chirped merrily. A vague scent of life and green vegetation were just diffused in the air. Oh, another thing. My favorite, absolute favorite smell in the world is actually fresh rain. I love it. I love going outside and smelling like how the world smells after it rains. It's, I don't know, it's refreshing. Where was I? A vague scent of life and green vegetation was diffused in the air. As the rain began to fall more soberly and in smaller liquid drops, children sought for shelter and all were happy, refreshed, and thankful. Okonkwo and his family worked very hard to plant a new farm, but it was like beginning life anew without the vigor and enthusiasm of youth, like learning to become left-handed in old age. Work no longer had for him the pleasure it used to have. And when there was no work to do, he sat in a silent half-sleep. Whoa. Remember how, like, before Okonkwo would like, if he wasn't feeling good, he would just work harder. But now work doesn't, like, I guess when you get older, like, you know, you just start getting tired. And I'll be honest, kids, as a teacher of 30, that's how I feel. I kind of feel it like Okonkwo. It's rough. His life had been ruled by a great passion to become one of the lords of the clan. That had been his life spring, and he had all but achieved it. Then everything had been broken. He had been cast out of his clan like a fish onto a dry, sandy beach, panting. Clearly, his personal god or chi was not made for great things. A man could not rise beyond the destiny of his chi. The saying of the elders was not true, that if a man said yea, his chi also affirmed. Here was a man whose chi said nay, despite his own affirmation. So Okonkwo, his philosophy in life is like, if you work hard enough, you can achieve anything. And yet, here he is working his darndest, trying his best, and for some reason, just fate won't allow him to get a break, to catch a break, because even though he worked so hard and he almost got everything that he ever wanted, this accident just threw him on his butt, and he's no longer on track to achieving his goals. That must be terrible, you know? Anyways, the old man Uchendu saw clearly that Okonkwo had yielded to despair, and he was greatly troubled. He would speak to him after the Isa Ifi ceremony. What is that? The youngest of Uchendu's 5 sons, Amiku, was marrying a new wife. The bride price had been paid, and all but the last ceremony had been performed. Amiku and his people had taken palm wine to the bride's kinsman about 2 moons before Okonkwo's arrival in Mbanta. And so it was time for the final ceremony of confession. What? Okay, so even more ceremony when it comes to marriage. There's a ceremony of confession. The daughters of the family were all there, some of them having come a long way from their homes in distant villages. Uchendu's eldest daughter had come from Obodo, nearly half a day's journey away. The daughters of Uehuiona were also there. It was a full gathering of Umuwada, in the same way as they would meet if a death occurred. There were 22 of them. They sat in a big circle on the ground, and the young bride in the center with a hen in her right hand. Uchendu before her, holding the ancestral staff of the family. The men stood outside the circle watching, their wives also. It was evening, and the sun was setting. Uchendu's eldest daughter, Njide, asked her, "Remember that if you do not answer truthfully, you will suffer or even die at childbirth," she began. "How many men have lain with you since my brother first expressed his desire to marry you?" "None," she answered simply. "Answer truthfully," urged the other women. "None," said Njide. "None," she answered. "Swear on this staff of my father's," said Uchendu. "I swear," said the bride. Uchendu took the hen from her, slit its throat with a sharp knife, and allowed some of the blood to fall on the ancestral staff. From that day, Amiku took the young bride and she became his wife. The daughters of the clan did not return to their homes immediately, but spent 2 more days with their kinsmen. Back up. Hold on. Okay, so dispersed throughout this book, there's been several steps to getting married. Getting married in Higbo culture. So I probably should find hard evidence, but from the novel, but from what I remember, okay, I remember that there has to be a expression of desire to marry a woman. There's a negotiation of bride price. There's a ceremony of, I forget what happened 2 chapters ago with Obierka. Hold on, wait. Let's see. Uchendu. That'll be, no, I'm on page 105. I want to go back. I want to know what this was called. Here, I think. Yes. This one. Where Obierka is joining. Okay. Celebrating Uri. Ceremony of Uri. So the day where her suitor brings palm wine. So they negotiate bride price, the ceremony of the uri, where they, and then after the uri, the wife leaves to go with the husband, and then on, oh God, I forgot what page it was, 100 something. Isa Ifi ceremony. None of this is necessary. None of it. Absolutely none. It's just so fascinating that we've come so far in this book that we understand now like the full process of getting married, which is insane. Like think about it. What does it take to get married in our culture right now? Like the simplest marriage is you go down to the court and you sign papers and you have like 2 witnesses with you. That's it. But like some people they want to do like the full church marriage where you have to like be indoctrinated by the church and you have to like go through like a full on like 6-week class in order to understand the rite of marriage and have a wedding ceremony in the church and have like that's a lot of steps. I think it's the same thing like this. It's a lot of steps. The Isa Ifi ceremony is I guess like where the bride admits that she has not slept with anyone else. Fascinating. Oh, the what is it? The ceremony of confession. Yeah, and it's like all the women are there. It's just I just find that it's very fascinating to me that to get married you have this long process, just like we do in our culture, Okay, where were we? Right here. On the second day, Uchendu called together his sons and daughters and his nephew Okonkwo. The men brought their goatskin mats, with which they sat on the floor, and the women sat on a sisal mat spread on a raised bank of earth. Uchendu pulled gently at his gray beard and gnashed his teeth. Then he began to speak, quietly and deliberately, picking his words with great care. "It is Okonkwo that I primarily wish to speak to," he began. "But I want all of you to note what I am going to say. I am an old man, and you are all children. I know more about the world than any of you. If there is anyone among you who thinks he knows more, I'll let him speak up." He paused, but no one spoke. "Why is Okonkwo with us today? This is not his clan. We are only his mother's kinsmen. He does not belong here. He is in exile, condemned for 7 years to live in a strange land, and so he is bowed with grief. But there is just one question I would like to ask him. Can you tell me, Okonkwo, why is it that one of the commonest names we give our children is Nneka, or Mother is Supreme? We all know that a man is the head of the family and his wives do his bidding. A child belongs to its father and his family, not to its mother and her family. A man belongs to his fatherland and not to his motherland. And yet we say, Nneka, Mother is Supreme. Why is that?" Okay, so that last assignment that we did about gender roles, be ready with that information in your head, because I feel like this is we're getting onto something. There was silence. "I want Okonkwo to answer me," said Uchendu. "I do not know the answer," Okonkwo replied. "You do not know the answer, so you see that you are a child. You have many wives and many children, many more than I have. You are a great man in your clan, but you are still a child, my child. Listen to me and I shall tell you. But there is one more question I shall ask you. Why is it that when a woman dies, she is taken home to be buried with her own kinsmen? She is not buried with her husband's kinsmen. Why is that? Your mother was brought home to me and buried with my people. Why was that?" Okonkwo shook his head. "He does not know that either," said Uchendu, "and yet he is full of sorrow because he has come to live in his motherland for a few years." He laughed a mirthless laughter and turned to his sons and daughters. "What about you? Can you answer my question?" They all shook their heads. "Then listen to me," he said and cleared his throat. "It's true that a child belongs to its father, but when a father beats his child, it seeks sympathy in its mother's hut. A man belongs to his fatherland when things are good and life is sweet, but when there is sorrow and bitterness, he finds refuge in his motherland. Your mother is there to protect you. She is buried there, and that is why we say that mother is supreme. Is it right that you, Okonkwo, should bring to your mother a heavy face and refuse to be comforted? Be careful, or you may displease the dead. Your duty is to comfort your wives and children and take them back to your fatherland after 7 years. But if you allow sorrow to weigh you down and kill you, they will all die in exile. He paused for a long while. These are now your kinsmen. He waved at his sons and daughters. You think you are the greatest sufferer in the world? Do you know that men are sometimes banished for life? Do you know that men sometimes lose all their yams and even their children? I had 6 wives once. I have none now except that young girl who knows not her right from her left. Do you know how many children I have buried? Children I begot in my youth and strength? 22. I did not hang myself, and I am still alive. If you think you are the greatest sufferer in the world, ask my daughter, Akueni, how many twins she has borne and thrown away. Have you not heard the song they sing for when a woman dies? For whom is it well? For whom is it well? There was no one for whom is it well. I have no more to say to you. Oh my God. Oh my God. Uchendu just gave Okonkwo the fiercest tongue lashing of his life. Oh my God, I felt that. I felt it, bro. He guilt tripped Okonkwo hard. He's like, shame on you. Shame on you for feeling sorry for yourself. Do you know how many people have it worse than you? How many people have had to give up their kids? How many people have been banished for life? How dare you come to your mother's home and feel sorry for yourself? Get up off of your feet and stop moping. You sad. Oh my God. Oh, I felt it. This is how my parents treated me. This is the guilt trip to end all guilt trips. Oh my God. And this is Ochendu. And that says something. This says something about how much they respect elders, because this old man basically shuts down the fiercest warrior of Umofia. He makes, like, if I were Okonkwo, man, I would feel like absolute garbage. I would want someone to hit me, because like dang, I would rather take a beating rather than this verbal abuse that I just suffered. Like, oh. Oh my God. Okay. So let me just share what's happened. So Okonkwo's moping because, like, he feels like the world is against him. He's being an emo little kid right now, and he's not letting himself be comforted. He's just moping around, So Uchendu, being the wise old man that he is, decides to use the art of the guilt trip to kind of like get Okonkwo to slap him upside the head. It'd be like, look, you don't have it that bad, all right? You don't have it that bad. I've had to bury 22 of my kids. Okay, you don't have to bury anyone. There are people who are banished for life. You're only banished for 7 years. I used to have 6 wives. Now I only have 1 left. You still have 3 wives. All right, like, he's like, stop complaining, get up off of your butt, and live for the future. Like this is like some tough love, straight up. How do I put this into words? How do I put this into words so that we can discuss this in class? Okonkwo gets his ass handed to him. No. Okonkwo gets a verbal lashing and reality check from Uchendu. Okay. And there's a couple of things that we get from this. Okay, we get a cultural revelation. Uchendu kind of explains, like, even though in our culture the man is considered in charge, who is it that we really respect and honor? It's actually the woman. So for those of you who are like this culture is so like sexist and one-sided and the man is always seen as the strong person, Uchendu gives a different perspective. He shares that in their culture, although the man is dominant, the woman, the mother, mother is supreme. I like that. Like, even though the man is dominant, the mother is supreme. So like kind of turns everything that we've been thinking about with like, oh, the man is allowed to beat his wives, and oh, the wives have to cook the food for the man and take care of the kids, and the man doesn't have to do much except plant food. Like, no, it's actually the opposite, because when times are rough, you turn to the woman. When people die, you go back to your motherland, not to your fatherland. Like, that's just more cultural stuff, that I wanted to bring up. So I got all heated because like I felt this. I felt this tongue lashing. Okay? So he uses this as his basis for his argument. So in their culture, the although the man is dominant, the mother is supreme. I'm trying to follow his argument. When times are rough, in normal times, man is in charge. In rough times, you seek refuge with the woman, right? How dare you insult your mother's memory by being sad? That's basically what he says to him. What was it? Oh my god. Where is it? Is it right that you, Okonkwo, should bring to your mother a heavy face and refuse to be comforted? Be careful, or you may displease the dead. There's the direct quote right there. Oh, I just absolutely, I love this, because it reminds me of my parents and how they would rationalize things with me. It's like you can't even get an A on your report card. Your father and I had to work ever since we were 10 years old in the Philippines, and we didn't have the Game Boys. We didn't have your Nintendos. We had to work hard to come to America and give a life to you, and you cannot even get an A on your report card. Oh my god. I actually turned into my mom. I actually turned into my mother. Ooh. I felt this chapter. Okay, I felt this chapter. All right. So this is his argument. Many have suffered more than you. Stop being emo and provide for your family like a man. He knows how to tug at Okonkwo's heartstrings. I wonder if this next chapter is going to tell us how it affects him. I wonder. All right, let's do chapter 15 now. Chapter 15. That went by quick. That chapter went by quick, not gonna lie. Okay. It was in the second year of Okonkwo's exile that his friend Obierka came to visit him. Whoa, time skip. We're 2 years into his exile. Okay. He brought with him 2 young men, each of them carrying a heavy bag on his head. Okonkwo helped them put down their loads. It was clear that the bags were full of cowries. Okonkwo was very happy to receive his friend. His wives and children were very happy too, and so were his cousins and their wives when he sent for them and told them who his guest was. You must take him to salute our father, said one of the cousins. Yes, replied Okonkwo, we are going directly. But before they went, he whispered something to his first wife. She nodded, and soon the children were chasing one of their cocks. Uchendu had been told by one of the grandchildren that 3 strangers had come to Okonkwo's house. He was therefore waiting to receive them. He held out his hands to them when they came to his obi, and after they had shaken hands, he asked Okonkwo who they were. "This is Obierka, my great friend. I have already spoken to you about him." "Yes," said the old man, turning to Obierka. "My son has told me about you, and I am happy you have come to see us. I knew your father, Iweka. He was a great man. He had many friends here, and came to see them quite often. Those were good days, when a man had friends in distant clans. Your generation does not know that. You stay at home, afraid of your next-door neighbor. Even a man's motherland is strange to him nowadays." He looked at Okonkwo. "I am an old man, and I like to talk. That is all I am good for now." He got up painfully, went into an inner room, and came back with a kola nut. "Who are the young men with you?" he asked as he sat down again on his goatskin. Okonkwo told him. "Ah," he said, "welcome, my sons." He presented the kola nut to them, and when they had seen it and thanked him, he broke it, and they ate. "Go into that room," he said to Okonkwo, pointing with his finger. "You will find a pot of wine there." Okonkwo brought the wine, and they began to drink. It was a day old and very strong. "Yes," said Uchendu, after a long silence. "People traveled more in those days. There is not a single clan in these parts that I do not know very well. Aninta, Umuazu, Ikeocha, Ulumuelu, Abame, I know them all." "Have you heard," said Obierka, "that Abame is no more?" "How is that?" said Uchendo and Okonkwo together. "Abame has been wiped out," said Obierka. "It is a strange and terrible story. If I had not seen the few survivors with my own eyes and heard their story with my own ears, I would not have believed." "Was it not on an Eke day that they fled into Omofia?" he asked his 2 companions, and they nodded their heads. "3 moons ago," said Obierka, "on an Eke market day, a little band of fugitives came into our town. Most of them were sons of our land, whose mothers had been buried with us. But there were some too who came because they had friends in our town, and others who could think of nowhere else open to escape, and so they fled into Umofia with a woeful story." He drank his palm wine, and Okonkwo filled his horn again. He continued. "During the last planting season, a white man had appeared in their clan." "An albino," suggested Okonkwo. "He was not an albino. He was quite different." He sipped his wine. This is it. This is it. The big reveal of the villain of our story. "And he was riding an iron horse. The first people who saw him ran away, but he stood beckoning to them. In the end, the fearless ones went near and even touched him. The elders consulted their oracle, and it told them that the strange man would break their clan and spread destruction among them." Obierka again drank a little of his wine, and so they killed the white man and tied his iron horse to their sacred tree, because it looked as if it would run away to call the man's friends. I forgot to tell you another thing which the oracle said. It said that other white men were on their way. They were locusts, it said, and that first man was their harbinger, sent to explore the terrain, and so they killed him. They have encountered the white man. It's incredible. All right, let me, no, I don't want this kind of slide. Get away from me. Okay. Okonkwo receives a visitor from whom? So Okonkwo's best friend, Obierka, comes to visit and brings news from home. One of the villages has been destroyed. Refugees from that village came to Umofia and told them what happened. So the thing that happened was a white on an iron horse came. They killed the white man because the oracle said, bring destruction. So you remember those locusts way back when, before Ikemefuna was killed? The locusts were like, they were like snacks from the sky. But in reality, locusts do destroy a lot of things. They eat up everything in their path. They eat up all the crops and everything. So if they came while, like, you know, the Umofians, the Igbo people had like crops, they probably would have been pissed off. But because they had finished harvesting, the locusts just kind of, you know, they were just free food. But the nature of locusts is that they usually send a scouting party first. Like they send out like a few locusts, and then the rest of them show up. So the oracle says, like, this white man is just the scout. There's more to come. So they thought if they killed the white man, the rest wouldn't show up. They wouldn't know where to find him, you know? It was the first man was their harbinger, sent to explore the terrain, and so they killed him. What did the white man say before they killed him? Asked Uchendu. He said nothing, answered one of Obierka's companions. He said something, only they did not understand him, said Obierka. He seemed to speak through his nose. So, what do you mean that you speak through his nose? I'm going to guess that the European accent sounded like he's speaking through his nose. Like, maybe in African language, which I don't know much African, maybe they speak from their chest or from their belly. It's deep and it's guttural. But like, you know, there are languages that speak more nasally. I don't know how to give an example of that, but there was a language barrier. They couldn't talk. One of the men told me, said Obierka's other companion, that he repeated over and over again a word that resembled Mbino. Perhaps he had been going to Mbino and had lost his way. Anyway, resumed Obierka, they killed him and tied up his iron horse. What the hell is this iron horse? This was before the planting season began. Is it like a horse that's like in armor or something like that? For a long time, nothing happened. The rains had come and yams had been sown. The iron horse was still tied to the sacred silk cotton tree. And then one morning, 3 white men, led by a band of ordinary men like us, came to the clan. They saw the iron horse and went away again. Most of the men and women of Abame had gone to their farms. Only a few of them saw these white men and their followers. For many market weeks, nothing else happened. They have a big market in Abame on every other Afo day, and as you know, the whole clan gathers there. That was the day it happened. The 3 white men and a very large number of other men surrounded the market. They must have used a powerful medicine to make themselves invisible until the market was full, and they began to shoot. Everybody was killed, except the old and the sick who were at home, and a handful of men and women whose chi were wide awake and brought them out of the market. He paused. Their clan is now completely empty. Even the sacred fish in their mysterious lake have fled, and the lake has turned the color of blood. A great evil has come upon their land, as the oracle had warned. Okay. So after they tied iron horse to a sacred tree, more white people showed up and saw the iron horse. They came back and killed everyone in the marketplace. Probably use guns. Ooh, that sucks. There was a long silence. Uchendu ground his teeth together audibly, then he burst out. Never kill a man who says nothing. Those men of Abame were fools. What did they know about the man? He ground his teeth again and told a story to illustrate his point. Mother Kite once sent her daughter to bring food. She went and brought back a duckling. You have done very well, said Mother Kite to her daughter. But tell me, what did the mother of this duckling say when you swooped and carried its child away? It said nothing, replied the young kite. It just walked away. You must return the duckling, said Mother Kite. There is something ominous behind the silence. And so Daughter Kite returned the duckling and took a chick instead. What did the mother of this chick do? Asked the old kite. It cried and raved and cursed me, said the young kite. Then we can eat the chick, said her mother. There is nothing to fear from someone who shouts. Those men of Abame were fools. Ooh, Uchendu's wisdom again. I love Uchendu. Uchendu's wisdom. Don't be afraid of a dog with all bark and no bite. Afraid of the silent ones because they will act rather than speak. Let's just keep it as Uchendu's wisdom. You guys get the lesson there? So, like, Uchendu is chastising the people of Abame because they killed someone. They killed someone that, there was no, and the repercussion is they didn't say anything, right? They didn't understand the language. And he's like, be afraid of people who don't speak because they're probably thinking of how to act. Don't be afraid of people who do speak because they're all bark and no bite. I don't know. I might delete this slide later. It might not make sense. I just want to get through this reading and I'll fix it up later. If there's something that you want to add or any input that you want to share, please do let me know. Okay. They were fools, said Okonkwo. Oh, they were fools, said Okonkwo after a pause. They had been warned that danger was ahead. They should have armed themselves with their guns and their machetes, even when they went to market. They have paid for their foolishness, said Obierka, but I am greatly afraid. We have heard stories about white men who made the powerful guns and the strong drinks and took slaves away across the seas, but no one thought the stories were true. There is no story that is not true, said Ochendu. The world has no end, and what is good among one people is an abomination with others. This is about culture. On culture. The world has no end, and what is good among one people is an abomination with others. And then this one is on conflict. Don't be afraid of a dog. There's all bark and no bites. I mean, I made that up. What does he really say? Never kill a man who says nothing. I like that one. Never kill a man who says nothing. And then he uses like this parable. There is nothing to fear from someone who shouts. There we go. Never kill a man who says nothing. And the other one was never, no. Yeah, there's nothing to fear from someone who shouts. Oops. Okay. We have albinos among us. Do you not think that they came to our clan by mistake? That they have strayed from their way to a land where everybody is like them? Okonkwo's first wife soon finished her cooking and set before their guests a big meal of pounded yams and bitter leaf soup. Okonkwo's son, Nwoye, brought in a pot of sweet wine tapped from the raffia palm. You are a big man now, Obierka said to Nwoye. Your friend Anene asked me to greet you. Is he well? Asked Nwoye. We are all well, said Obierka. Azima brought them a bowl of water with which to wash their hands, and after that they began to eat and drink the wine. When did you set out from home? Asked Okonkwo. We had meant to set out from my house before cockcrow, said Obierka, but in Nweke did not appear until it was quite light. Never make an early morning appointment with a man who has just married a new wife. They all laughed. Ha! I get it. That was a joke. Has Nweke married a wife? Asked Okonkwo. He has married Okadigbo's second daughter, said Obierka. That is very good, said Okonkwo. I do not blame you for not hearing the cock crow. When they had eaten, Obierka pointed at the two heavy bags. That is the money from your yams, he said. I sold the big ones as soon as you left. Later on, I sold some of the seed yams and gave out others to sharecroppers. I shall do that every year until you return. But I thought you would need the money now, and so I brought it. Who knows what may happen tomorrow? Perhaps green men will come to our clan and shoot us. God will not permit it, said Okonkwo. I do not know how to thank you. I can tell you, said Obierka. Kill one of your sons for me. That will not be enough, said Okonkwo. Then kill yourself, said Obierka. Forgive me, said Okonkwo, smiling. I shall not talk about thanking you anymore. Huh. So he's joking around. That's like their way of saying like you don't have to do anything for me by asking some stupid request, you know? I think that's cool. Like they're best friends and they're joking around. But you know, there's some things there that are like, you know, yeah, Okonkwo, don't kill yourself. And then Uchendu before he says like, you know, why are you coming up and why are you so sad? You know, like you have no right to be upset. People have been more upset than you. You have no right, like you shouldn't hang yourself, you know? What was it? Where is this? He says it here? No. I don't remember where it is. But he like, oh yeah. See? He mocks Okonkwo. He's like, "Look, I lost 22 people and still I haven't hung myself. Why are you so sad? I did not hang myself and I'm still alive. If you think you are the greatest sufferer in the world, ask my daughter." You know, like he's making fun of Okonkwo. Like I think he's poking at Okonkwo and be like, "Oh, you're so weak, huh? You're feeling so sorry for yourself. You know, where's that big strong man who used to like be the best warrior in the clan? Hey, you know what? I'm stronger than you and I'm an old man. I lost 22 kids. I still didn't kill myself. Why are you feeling so sorry for yourself?" Whew, man. Anyways, that's chapter 14 and 15, kids. That was quick. We learned a little bit more about Okonkwo's situation, and we hear, more importantly in chapter 15, news about what's going on, the changes that are going to challenge Okonkwo when he returns. So he's still in exile in these two chapters. He's living with his mother's family, you know, the in-laws, not in-laws, no, his mother's family, his mother's side of the family. He's living with his mother's side of the family, and he is waiting for his exile, his term to be over, so he can return and hopefully reinstate himself in his clan. So I hope that this live read helps put things into perspective for you. I know that it's different, but it's definitely interesting, and I can't wait to discuss some of the stuff in class in more details. We have it looks like we have a lot of notes to cover, so I hope that all of you who said you're going to do better next quarter by paying attention and getting your work in and all that stuff, that you actually do that. It would be really nice. But in any case, the quarter is over, kids. It's time for you to take a break, relax. We'll start fresh on Monday. And there's a lot of things that are going to be changing. I'm going to be in the classroom. Kids are going to start coming back for hybrid. Class is going to start at 7:10 instead of 8:05. It's going to be completely different. So thank you, Miss Robles, for being here. Thank you. I appreciate it. And if you have any questions as well, feel free to provide input. But with that, I have a varsity quiz to attend to. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much again. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash your hands. And we'll see you next time in class. All right? Take care, everybody.